Ghosts of Tsushima is great. My expectations were a little too high, like it's not the next Horizon Zero Dawn or the new God of War. It's an awesome samurai game in a beautiful world with very familiar open world activities and some older elements that I hoped we grew out of at this point. I got to say, the game becomes better the more you play, and that's thanks to the extra tools and skills that you unlock and some awesome armor sets that you can collect that really make the world super rewarding. The story starts out a little slow but gets more interesting over time. Like overall, I had and am having actually a lot of fun with this game, and in this video I will go more in depth on my impressions while showing you new gameplay of the PS4 Pro and also the regular PS4 version and from the early parts of the game. So no story spoilers whatsoever. I will also be answering questions that many of you left on my previous video. I think I already answered this one from Fino though. Yes, I'm having fun. So there's a lot to go over. A like on the video would be super appreciated, and let's go. First of all, congrats to Adam for winning my Ghost of Tsushima Digital Deluxe Edition giveaway. He already got the prize, so have fun this Friday. So one question I saw a lot was about the size of the map, and I did not expect this, but this game is incredibly huge. Like the first area is already good for more than 20 hours if you really want to do everything. It's insane, and then you also have the two smaller but still relatively big maps for the other story acts. And I overall love how different each area feels. Like in the first part of the game you will be mostly traveling through a forest and can't really see that far away, while later on in the game you really reach this farmland that feels completely different. And yes, the game is gorgeous and it really puts you in this beautiful Japanese land that can be fairy too. I just wish that they changed it up earlier, because if you, like me, want to do everything in the first area first before moving on to the next one, then it will get samey after a while. I would argue that the world also gets way more beautiful later on in the game, so it kinda sucks that you are stuck in this forest for a while. So yeah, Spider-Man, the game is really as beautiful as the trailers show. I play on PS4 Pro with HDR and that adds even more to it, but even on the base PS4, as you see in footage from Dennis, who's of course part of the JorRaptor team, you can see that it looks great here too. It's really a world like no other, and the performance on both systems is great too, comparable to other PS4 exclusives that are not called Days Gone. And really, some locations like the Golden Temple that we already saw in pre-release footage really shine. Trace Mitchell asked if there are large towns or cities, and well, I'm actually surprised by the amount of large settlements and towns that you come across. Don't expect anything on the level of Meridian from Horizon, but instead there are way more different locations in Ghost of Tsushima that feel quite big and will also have all the different vendors that you can talk to. And in these towns there will always be people telling you about locations or missions that you should check out. You got the small side quest for the citizens of Tsushima that all have their little problems that you can solve. They are like 15-20 minutes long, some are more memorable than others, but overall they feel well put together, and it's not just the typical, hey, kill these Mongols nearby. The random encounters are less interesting though, because there are really just a few examples. They all revolve around killing a group of Mongols. Sometimes they have a hostage, sometimes a cart with some resources, and sometimes they are just randomly patrolling or fighting bandits. There will also be animals that can attack you, but that is really it. I really liked the animal sort of guiding system though, foxes taking you to shrines and birds leading you to many secrets that can easily be missed. Sometimes the birds are hard to chase though, because they go off mountains that would kill you if you follow them. But overall it's fun to see these creatures, and the upgrades are actually really nice. Like, some of the things you have to do for these upgrades are not really that interesting, like sitting in a bath with the same animation all the time to get extra health, or doing a button combination to cut bamboo. But because these upgrades that you get from these activities are really nice, you are just happy when a fox or an animal shows up to lead you to those locations. Just overall, do not expect a revolutionary open world. We've all seen this before, and if you accept that, then there is totally some fun to be had. And I'm now mostly talking about the random locations on the map, because the missions are actually pretty cool, especially the mythic tales that tell stories about legendary samurai or other legendary characters. So while 2 that you encounter later on can be a little bit grindy, the others have cool unique puzzles and a cool duel at the end. And overall the rewards are really awesome. I've never seen an open world game that is this rewarding as Ghosts of Tsushima for optional content. Like that longbow that we saw in the state of play, it is a reward for one of these mythic tales. So if you don't do that or just don't find the mission, you will finish the game without ever using that bow. You can of course later complete that mission, but overall that's pretty awesome, right? And there are many more examples of unique rewards that you can only get from one mission or activity. I feel like aside from missions and side missions, there's literally nothing else to do. So this is completely false. There is a ton to do, but it mostly revolves around the combat, fighting the Mongols. And I will touch on the main story and some other content in a second, but first I want to touch on that combat, and that's also what Black is asking. The combat namely feels great and actually has a lot of depth and continues to evolve over the course of the game. It really rewards your skill and there are multiple ways to play. Stealth is totally a valid option and you get more tools as your legend grows, so as you basically level up, and then you can spend skill points towards your preferred playstyle. Like having the chain assassinate unlocked and actually spending more points to take out more enemies is super powerful, and you see me use it also here in combination with the smoke bomb, so then you are able to assassinate enemies in combat. Overall though, you will mostly be using your katana, and as you kill special leader enemies, you unlock new stances that really make this combat shine. Because yes, enemies die from a few strikes of your blade, but you need to quickly switch to the best possible stance to be the most effective. The water stance is for example handy against shields, and you also got one for sword enemies, brutes and spear enemies. So then later on you will constantly be switching because multiple enemies will surround you. And on top of that you have the ghost tools to be even more effective. You can parry incoming attacks or dodge away. It's really a ton of fun, and especially after upgrading your katana, it gets more satisfying because then you really take out enemies with just a few hits. And it really looks cool as well. The only issue I have is that there's no manual lock-on system. The game decides for you who you want to face, and this can lead to some weird moments where you feel like you lost control. So I'm pretty surprised that we cannot focus on a target ourselves. That would have likely made things way easier. Toxicity asked, how many weapons and armor are there in the game? So weapons is really your katana as your melee weapon, and then you got the half bow that you get from a story mission, and of course the longbow that I touched on earlier, and also a blade for the assassinations. So that is really it, next to the ghost tools, and I don't want to spoil them all, and there are some other surprises too. I felt that there was overall enough, and really the game gives you more tools as you go, so that is pretty cool. And what makes the customization more exciting is the armor system, because every armor chest gives 3 extra bonuses, so you can really choose the right armor for you. And even cooler is that you can upgrade these armor sets to increase their bonuses, but also to greatly change their look. An armor might not look that exciting at first, but then after upgrading it, it becomes a super awesome look for your character. You also can select a mask and a hat, but that doesn't impact your stats. And apart from the mask, everything is shown in cutscenes as well, which is great. And cutscenes are mostly reserved for the main story. Again, no spoilers, but it kind of starts out slow and the writing is not that strong in particular. It luckily gets more nuanced though as you continue, and I grew to like the characters more over time. And also cool is how the side characters that you meet in the main story have their own character tale as well that give you even more context. So totally do these missions to get a broader picture. You can also do them after finishing the main story, and they also give amazing unique rewards. Again, that is a part that Ghosts of Tsushima really nails, rewarding side content, and the narrative in these side missions is pretty great too. There are just some gameplay moments that I wish we did not do anymore. Like even in main missions you also have to follow a person and then immediately see a countdown timer if you lost them. or hey, go back to the mission area in an open world game feels kinda weird. And this, weirdly enough, also mostly happens at the beginning of the game. Like, really the story missions get better and more memorable later on. The worlds will get more varied and also rewarding as you continue to play. And I will totally do that to bring you, of course, a ton of tips and tricks. Like, I'm just getting started with my Ghost of Tsushima content. The game is really fun. The samurai and Japanese feel of the game are well made. The combat is awesome. Again, the open world is rewarding. It's just not doing anything new, not pushing anything forward. Just a cool game with a ton of content. And if you go in with those expectations, then I think you will have a really great time. So Dennis and I will also be doing a review discussion. It's live in a few hours after this video post. And you will see a countdown timer in the pinned comment. So I hope to see you there. If you got more questions, they can ask them there. Again, no story spoilers, of course. And I will likely do another video tomorrow answering more of your questions. So you can also leave them in the comments down below, and then I might pick them for the next video. A like on this video would be super appreciated. You can see other Ghost of Tsushima content by clicking on the screen. For now though, I will speak to you next time, and goodbye.